The Alpha Sessions with Emma Joyce.
Berg, thank you so much for coming on the show
For having me.
and spending the time. We would normally have you in our studio, but obviously, due to the current situation, we're going to have to make do with Zoom for now. But hopefully, when things are back to normal, we can get you back in the studio and do a normal session. So, can you start with us, how your musical journey started?
How did it start? Well, I started playing classical piano when I was 5. Um, in Sweden, I was in Sweden, and my mom found this Romanian concert pianist who was really, really strict and made me play quite complicated pieces from a very early age. And I loved it, but it was really hard. And then it was when I was about 12, you had to kind of decide whether you want to be a classical musician or not when you're that age, because you have to put aside your whole life and dedicate it to practicing 6 hours a day. And I was not willing to do that. And so I found singing, which is much more free and it's more expressive. And I still love the piano, of course, and I love classical music, but it's really regimented, and it wasn't for me. So then I just went into pop and well, whatever, alternative pop, indie pop, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, and then it wasn't until after university where I decided to do it professionally. And yeah, that's my musical journey, I think.
Must have given you a great foundation, learning all that classical music early on to give you a basis for creating more stuff, but obviously having such a massive foundation, it
Yeah.
must have made the practice solid. I think that's the right word.
Yeah, no, it was really cool because I think classical music, I don't know why a lot of people don't like it, but it's so melodic and it's the beginning of pop. I mean, a lot of Chopin's melodies and stuff. I sound really annoying right now, but with classical compositions, you can hear that top melody that comes along with pop as well, and with any kind of music. It's the basis of everything. So it also really showed me how much I love soundtrack music. Like I love film music, When you're watching a film, the music is, I'd say, half of it for me.
100%, and I think so many people don't even realise that because it's almost built within your brain, in your subconscious, that you don't even think about it.
Exactly. So I think people who say they don't like classical music or whatever, they have no idea what they're talking about, because classical music now is a lot of times soundtrack music, and that's just emotional.
Um, you released your first single last year. Congratulations. It was called What If, right?
Yes.
Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, What If is a song that's dedicated to the question of what if. I think everyone has that question, what could have been. Um, it's it's about a person. It's basically like the theme song of my life. I'm never the brave one. I never make a kind of rash decision. I'm cautious. So a lot of times I'm wondering what if I'd done something differently, or like what if the situation had been different? You know, would we be in a different place now?
Wow, those are some pretty big questions.
Yeah. But usually, I mean, this one's specifically about romance, but it could be about the larger world as well.
Was it pretty scary releasing your first song, like your first single ever?
Oh, yeah. It was so scary, especially since, these songs are like diary entries in a way. So I wasn't even really scared about reviews or anything. It was mainly just people reading into the songs and being like, "What's this about?" Or "When did you feel like this?" Because I'm actually, even though I'm a musician and I'm very open in my songs, I'm not that open in terms of my emotions with my friends and family and stuff. So I was actually most nervous to show them when
Do you
I
think?
write
Do you
songs.
think people find out about you through your songs rather than through a conversation?
Well, now I've become way more open. So
Okay.
that's something that I've been working on. So now I'm really, really open, and I think people almost find me too open. But it took me a while because
Of course.
I think, well, for me, I basically just I had moved around a lot, and I just really didn't know who I was until after university. I started kind of unraveling who I was and who I wanted to be and what I was really feeling. I think a lot of people hide all the sides to themselves. They try and be one thing, and a lot of us are just not one thing. We're multidimensional people. So I had tried to be this positive, happy person, and I think then with my songs, it showed that I really wasn't always that person. I have loads of different aspects to my personality, my moods and stuff, and so I wanted to show that through my songs, and maybe help other people realize that they could also share what they were going through.
Wow, that's so interesting, and I definitely agree with the whole multifaceted humans.
Yeah, do you have don't you have like a side that you don't share with people?
Oh, 100%,
Yeah.
100%. I think everyone does to a certain extent, but they obviously don't tell you about it because they don't share it with you, so you never know.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I just feel like people should be more open about it because for me, I suffered from the fact that I wasn't sharing those parts with people. Especially like the next song that's coming out is called Fake Love. And that's about being in bed all day, avoiding life and binging on Netflix and doing anything that's bad for you and anything to avoid facing real life, partying, whatever. And that song is really, I think, very current. And I think a lot of people feel that way, where they have those days where they just don't want to face anything and they just crawl into bed and, hide from the world, especially now as well.
Oh yeah, 100%, especially now during lockdown. I also wanted to chat to you about your follow-up single to your debut, Take Off Your Disguise.
Take Off Your Disguise is actually exactly what we were talking about, which is about revealing who you are and having the strength to do that and really being able to show that side that you're hiding from people and being brave, you know? It's about, yeah, being brave.
So it really is like the follow-up to the previous single, which is really interesting, is you write them together.
Yeah, I
Okay.
wrote them like right next to each other, basically. And the music videos are actually linked. I don't know if you've seen them, but the first one tells a story of what could have been with this guy, what's happening with them. They're not in the same place. Watch it. It's hard to describe music videos without watching it. The second music video is almost like them in another parallel universe and about really revealing who you are, revealing your feelings, and there's a whole story and a narrative involved with that. So that I've tied them together quite importantly, I think.
No, definitely, I think so. And now that you mentioned that they were written together and they're in sequence, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're kind of in a lockdown-ish situation. What's your setup like? Are you on your own or?
I have a flatmate, but she had corona really early on. And so she's been furloughed, so she's American and she went back to the States. So I was alone for a while. Specifically, I was alone right before my release of Where
Oh,
Will We Be?
scary. Yeah.
And I had to write all of these bios about who I was as an artist and I was thinking, who am I as a person? Who am I as an artist? And I was just sitting alone writing all of these ridiculous, you know, biographies, trying to figure out who I was and being as authentic and genuine as possible and being really afraid to do it wrong, you know, to say something that was wrong. I wanted to be really open about who I was and the fact that I've had, issues with my emotions and with my past and revealing who I was and all this stuff. And I wanted to say it in the right way. And so then in lockdown, I was kind of trapped by a cycle of who am I? Who am I? What do I want to say? What do I want to say? So that was really tough. I'm
Which
very
probably
happy that I can see people now.
which probably was highlighted because of the fact that you were on your own, right?
Yes. Oh my God. Every day I would wake up and I'd write in my journal and ask myself who I was. And then I'd have like a Zoom meeting with somebody, from my team being like, what should we write in this bio or in this press release? And they'd be like, who are you? And I'd be like, ah,
I don't know.
I don't know who I am and I'm alone.
Aw.
My sister actually got really worried about me because she was like, this is this isn't good for anyone to question who you are in every aspect of your life alone during a pandemic.
Definitely not.
No.
What was it like releasing your single during lockdown?
It was tough, I think I was working so hard because there's no limit to your day. So
Yeah.
I'm my own boss, so I just worked nonstop for the release. And then when the release happened, it went really well and got good reviews, but I had no personal release.
Yeah.
I was still just in my room waiting for emails to come in, people's positive feedback to come in, and that was hard, not having that ability to perform and see people and celebrate the fact that you've released something. So it was hard. It was hard, but it was really nice because the reason I wanted to do it was because I felt it was just such a current song, and I thought that it would lift people's spirits. And when lockdown was really bad and we couldn't really go outside much, I would put that song on when I was walking through the park and listen to it. And I don't really listen to my own songs, but that song, I don't know, it just has this ethereal, like lifting feel to the production. And I really wanted to give it out now, you know?
What would you say it was about?
Well, it's, asking the question, where will we be? It's about being clouded by anxiety and worry and fear of the future, and just putting aside all of that pressure and just enjoying the moment, and allowing yourself to believe that anything is possible. When you push out all of that pressure and that heavy, we have to do this, this, or what's happening, what's going to happen, trying to plan. If you just push it aside and you just really allow yourself to feel like anything is possible, when really it can be. It's hard to think that, but a lot of things are possible. That's what the song is about, is really leaving leaving all the constraints behind, and thinking of a positive, brighter future.
So important at a time like that and like this, I think, as well.
Yeah.
I think the thing that's keeping all of us going is hope, and that song
Yeah,
definitely sounds
exactly. It's
like
hope.
a song full of hope.
As I called it, an anthem of hope in my press release.
In terms of you being at home a lot more, how have you been spending the time?
Well, the beginning, my flatmate had corona, so I was stuck inside in self-isolation for like the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because it was really early on as well, nobody really knew what it was, how long it was contagious, all that stuff. So I was really in self-isolation. Not only that, they had just put up scaffolding around our entire building, so there was like no light in
Oh
my
no.
apartment whatsoever.
So proper
And
isolation.
yeah, and I went into a little bit of a caveman mode, but I did write a song a day in the beginning.
Wow.
Yeah. I
That's
was,
insane.
well, I had nothing else to do, and I had so many feelings and emotions and fears, and I just put them all into songs.
So are we going to be expecting 14 upcoming singles or?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, we'll see, but it was a really weird and productive time. Um, but the thing is that it's not sustainable, like
Yeah.
doing that all the time on your own. And so there have been moments where I've been incredibly productive, and then other moments where I've done nothing, and then seen on Instagram, you know, all these people being really happy and productive and like doing yoga every day, and then you compare yourself to them. And I had very much like ups and downs, roller
Yeah.
coaster emotions.
100%. And there's like been so much pressure, I think, particularly for musicians on social media to like come out of the lockdown period with so much fruitful
Yeah,
stuff.
like as
Um,
though it's
like
some
it's
kind of,
crazy.
like, people kept saying like this is a break, like you can now catch up with everyone. And I was like, what do you mean? That's not how it works. Like, just because I'm stuck in a room doesn't mean I'm okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's a big thing, is like, especially in the beginning. I remember I went to this seminar, which is really cool. It's called Girls to the Front, which the woman who started Secret Sessions started, and it was all female singer-songwriters who were trapped in lockdown. And everyone was kind of asking questions to this group. We hadn't met before, it was all on Zoom. And I finally just asked, I was like, does anyone else feel like me, where I feel like I'm supposed to be doing like a TikTok a day, trying to do do a Twitch live stream every day. I'm supposed to be writing a song a day. I'm supposed to be on social media the whole time. And everyone raised their hand. They were like, yeah. And I was like, isn't it hard? You know, like it's really tough to feel that pressure and not keep up with it. And also recognize the good things that you've done. And because like it's just basically comparing yourself to other people is crap.
100%. And I think like there's not enough emphasis on the fact that just if you're getting through this then you're okay. Like that's also totally fine.
That's what I kept on saying to myself. I was like, just waking up
Exactly.
is good enough
100%.
right now. And then anything on top of that is a bonus.
Exactly.
But it only, I mean, yeah, it works most of the time. And then some of the time you're like, ah. But no, it's been a learning experience for sure.
Also, you've been doing weekly writing sessions with Ben Hayward now.
Yes.
That's really cool. I noticed that on your Instagram. How's that going?
Oh my gosh, I love how you know that. Really well. I love him. He's just the best human being in the whole world. Seriously. I'm obsessed with him.
Have you managed to keep it going despite like not being able to see each other and stuff?
Yeah. He's been a huge support as well. Like when I've had periods of down or like, you know, feeling like I don't know what I'm doing with my life or, you know, those kind of moments, he's been there. So he's a really good friend as well
Nice.
and good person.
Cool.
And his music is excellent.
Yeah, his music is actually great. If you were to get a call tomorrow, and they would say to you, right, come back and gig anywhere in the world, where would it be? As in, what venue?
Oh my God, I don't know. Somewhere outside. It would be really cool.
Forget about like Corona for a minute. Like it could be anywhere. Don't worry about like.
I know, but I would love to do like a festival stage.
Okay, cool.
It could
What
be,
like Glastonbury or something?
yeah, I mean like
Or
Glastonbury,
Coachella.
obviously. Oh, Coachella, that would be really cool. Coachella would be awesome.
And if you could collaborate with someone on that Coachella stage, they can be dead or alive. Who would it be?
Oh, I don't know.
Sorry, big question.
Oh my God. Well, I was actually thinking like James Blake or someone like
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
yeah, that'd be quite cool.
So you'd collaborate at Coachella with James Blake,
Yeah.
and then if you could have like a dream rider, what would be on that rider?
Okay. Rose.
Nice.
Oh God, I actually have no idea. Some candy, coffee,
Yeah.
dark chocolate, and I'm such a like I feel like that's such a baby rider.
No, not at all.
Yeah, rose chocolate candy,
Okay. Nice. And
coffee. Yeah,
coffee. Yeah, you said that. I think.
yeah.
Don't ask me to repeat that back to you, because I'm not going to remember. It's like one of those I went shopping games.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So if we want to find out more about you, find out what you've been up to and when your next release is and all that kind of stuff, where can we go? What can we do?
You can follow me on Instagram at Berg, Berg, or on Facebook, Is This Berg? And yeah, those are the two main places. Or my website, which is thisisberg.com.
Amazing. Thank you so much for giving up the time to have a chat with us, and hopefully see you in the studio soon.
Thank you for having me.